welcome back to my channel. This is Celestial Estelle, and today I'm going to be doing a collective energy reading for what's coming towards you in the next upcoming months. So this is an energy reading for what's going to be coming up for you. I want to say in the next two to 4 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and start with an affirmation card, and we'll get into our spread. What's coming towards the collective in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So we have, it's safe to look within. As I move through the layers of other people's opinions and beliefs, I see within myself a magnificent being, wise and beautiful. I love what I see in me. So I'm picking up that in the next coming weeks, you're going to be spending a lot more time reflecting on who you are and learning more about your identity and your own personal energy. If you're watching this, I'm sensing you might be somebody that people are constantly looking at you or staring at you or checking in on you or questioning you, and you might be confused when it comes to your own personal energy. And in the next upcoming weeks, you're going to be given a time period where you will be able to slow down and reflect, not only reflect on your own energy, but reflect on the work that you've done so far on yourself. We are just coming out of a full moon in Virgo, and if you know, Virgorian energy is very critical. Nobody is harder on a Virgo than a Virgo. I mean, Virgos are so self-critical and nothing is ever good enough, and they have this strong perfectionist energy. I don't know why I'm hearing Gemini. You could be a Gemini if you're watching this video. But I'm picking up on strong Gemini energy. Gemini and Virgo they're not sister signs, but they're both ruled by Mercury. But anyway, during this time period, the next upcoming 2 to 4 weeks, you're going to be having a lot of time to yourself in solitude to reflect on your own personal narrative. Some of you might be starting therapy in the next 2 to 4 weeks, or you've been looking for a therapist. A therapist might be getting back to you. You might be getting a message from your therapist, or you're looking to join a support group. Some more cards here. Fighting completion and ripeness. So there's something that people have been working on for a very long time, and I'm hearing that it's time. You're going to be placed in a situation. You're going to be placed in a situation where you're finally going to be able to realize that you haven't had to fight as long as you've been fighting for what you've wanted, and you've actually been in a state of completion for a really long time, and you can move forward to start enjoying the fruits of your labor, or like you're past the point of seeing the budding seed. Like, you've worked hard, and it's time for you to reflect as of what you've done so far and really, really enjoy that. I'm hearing that people are going to be, I'm hearing you're going to, in the next 2 to 4 weeks, possibly even a little beyond that, you're going to be meeting your soul family or somebody from your soul's tribe or your soul's path. And I say that because even though this being right here is fighting, you can see in the clouds that there's people fighting behind him as well. But instead of, I'm not picking up that, that you were fighting with somebody. I'm more so picking up that there are people fighting alongside you, or people are going to be joining you on your journey and supporting you, and they want to see you succeed and see whatever it is that you've been building through to completion. And they also, because at the end of the day, they're going to enjoy the fruits of y'all's labor together. Some of you in this pile might be dancers. I don't know, I'm hearing dancers. I'm hearing move your feet. Or get moving, maybe. I'm also hearing patience. A lot of times, if somebody in this pile is on a spiritual journey, a lot of times we get so overwhelmed and we get worked up and we think that there are so many different things that we have to do and there are so many different trends. But even when it comes to, meditation is great for you, and yoga and listening to tarot. These are all very cosmetic and external, but all the spiritual, I don't want to say lessons, but most of the work that you're going to be doing is what goes on within inside of you. And it's learning how to be a more compassionate individual, learning how to be more caring and how to relate to other people fully, because the better understanding that you have of yourself, it's easier for you to relate and understand other people. I'm also picking up that in the next 2 to 4 weeks, people are going to be challenging your sense of identity as well. This has actually been something that's been going on for a really long time. People are going to continue to challenge your sense of identity, and I'm hearing, instead of you to back down and run from it or be triggered or get scared, to let this be an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself, whether it's for you to release something that's no longer needed inside of you, or to affirm a belief that you already had about yourself. And that's why it's really, really important for us to listen to people with other or opposing viewpoints that are our own, or just other experiences, because that's really essentially how we learn. I'm going to pull some more cards here. I'm going to pull from this Wildwood Tarot, see what else is coming towards the collective in terms of finances, in terms of health, career, tradition, Nine of Stones. Yeah, so you're, like I said, you're going to be, whatever you've been laying the groundwork and the foundation for is really going to come into fruition. You're not going to need to fight as much as you needed to fight before in the past, because it's not even necessarily receiving abundance, because you have that abundance. It's more so expressing gratitude for what you have, and listening to your own intuition and your own inner knowing and your own knowledge. We got the Fool card as well, which is an energy, a Piscean energy, which is very, very tapped into the unconscious mind and the collective unconscious, and just has to do with dreams. We got Six of Wands, which is abundance. So when you take not even necessarily this leap of faith, but when you continue your journey of looking within yourself, because a lot of times we get so distracted. We have social media, we have friends, we have family. There are so many different things that distract us from doing the inner work that we've been needing to do. So within these next 2 to 4 weeks, and even more, maybe this has even just been, you have this feeling or this knowing that you need to take a step back and reflect, take a step back and look within yourself, take a step back. I'm hearing that you need to reach out actually to family and talk to people and see what other people do when they step into this season. Because again, there are seasons for work, there's seasons for play, and there's seasons where we just need to take a step back and really, really, really reflect. At the bottom of the deck, we got Eight of Vessels, which is Eight of Cups, which is about rebirth. So there is a emotional rebirth and a renewal period that's going on, that's going to be going on. I'm hearing purging and mourning. Purging and mourning. Let it go. Release it. It's over. I'm hearing I can start again. I can start again. I'm hearing life is not always about fighting. Life is not always about the fight. It's about enjoying. It's about the process. And Virgo is such a hard-working sign, and they get so caught up in the material world, and that's why I think Pisces showed up, because Pisces is also a hard-working sign, but Pisces knows when to relax and take a step back and to dream. I'm hearing for this pile, some of you guys need to go back and look through your manifestation journal if you have one, and look back and see what you wrote down, so you can get a better understanding of what you actually have accomplished and what you haven't, versus beating yourself up. Because beating yourself up doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't get you anywhere at all. It does absolutely nothing for you. And this is that time period for you to really take a look at yourself. Somebody is going to be moving towards you, and they're really going to show you. They're going to show that mirror. You can see she's holding the sunflower up. But I feel like this is what somebody's going to do to you. That's why I said I think some of you guys might be going to therapy really soon, or joining a support group, or you might meet somebody that just holds that mirror up to you and shows you, hey, you are a beautiful being. There's absolutely no reason why you should be beating yourself up the way that you beat yourself up. Look at all that you've done. I mean, the fact that so many of us are able to wake up and do the things that we do on a day-to-day basis while we're living in the world that we're living in is absolutely incredible. I mean, there's so much horror in the news. There are so many people out to get everybody. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Yet we're still not afraid to trust people. We're still not afraid to open our hearts. And if we are, we're trying to. We haven't turned our backs away from it completely. So I think that we need to cut ourselves some more slack. So we pulled the Sun card. It says the creation of the gaining of respect from or for or from things brought to light or the light. Like, this might be a time period where you guys are going to be engaged in some deep shadow work. And then we got Leo, which is self-confidence, to create. That's why I said to kind of create a more stable foundation when it comes to your identity. And you're going to be coming out a new person, or a better version of you, somebody that you knew you were all along, is what I'm hearing. Somebody that you knew you were all along, with that rebirth. And then we have Uranus, and this might be something that was incredibly sudden for you. That's what I'm saying. It could be somebody that just comes into your life and just shows you that mirror and says, take a look at yourself. This is who you are, the good and the bad. And you might be, if you're experiencing any shame or insecurity, I'm hearing that you have to understand that everybody in this lifetime is going to suffer, and everybody is going to experience pain. Nobody leaves this life without experiencing that. But sometimes when we're experiencing pain and suffering for longer, and we're constantly asking questions, it's time to go inside of yourself. It's time to go inside of yourself. So this is what's a wake-up call, is what's coming towards all of us. A serious wake-up call is what's coming towards us. I'm going to pull some activation cards to see what type of love we can be activating. Oh, I'm hearing that somebody is going to be coming into some money with this. If you're somebody who's watching this is going to be coming into some money, maybe your tax return. I'm hearing your tax return was wrong, as in you were actually supposed to receive more money than you got back on your tax return. Or if you quit your job, and you just forgot about a job you quit, you might be a serial job hopper and you forgot, and they're going to send you a check in the mail. Or somebody's just going to wake up and somebody just sells you some money, or they cash out you some money. It says vision. No matter what, you see the bigger picture of a loving universe, of a loving, just universe. Like I was saying, how people in this pile, you're not afraid to love, even though things have happened to you. But we have to continue to go inside. Got virtue. We have to continue to go inside and continue to do the work, so our outer world can mimic and match our inner world. And whatever it is that we've been working towards when it comes to completion, and the fighting cards that we pulled will turn out the way that we've wanted it to. So we have virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. Some of you guys in this pile are very, very wise, and just, I don't want to say all-knowing because you are forever learning, but people in this pile are very, very wise beyond their years. And I'm hearing that you're going to be given an opportunity and a chance to share that. And I got cooperation again, and I don't think it's going to be on some huge platform or something, but I think you're going to be placed in a situation where you're really, you're going to meet somebody in these next 2 to 4 weeks, and this person is really just going to be such a breath of fresh air. And it doesn't have to be a romantic connection. It does not have to be a romantic connection at all. It's more so just going to be like, wow, people do think like me. People do dream like me. People do feel the way that I feel. I'm not this weird, strange alien like that I thought I was. Absolutely not. It says, in your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person and his experience has value. So I'm saying you might be somebody in this pile. You might be going to a conference or a retreat in these upcoming weeks, and somebody is really, 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 really going to show you about yourself and tell you about yourself. And it's going to be positive. I'm hearing if somebody is triggering you in some way, triggering you at work, triggering you at school, you should sit down and sit with it instead of running away from how you feel when it comes to that. I'm gonna pull some cards as to what we should look out for in these next upcoming weeks. Spirit, some cards as to what we need to look out for in these next upcoming weeks. So we got the 3 of Swords, which is heartbreak and jealousy. Do not let those feelings, you need to go within inside yourself and really mend those feelings and emotions. There's going to be opportunities. If we look for the bad in things, there's going to be bad. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities in these next upcoming weeks that is going to remind you, or not remind you, it's going to confuse you. Because that's what the brain likes to do sometimes. And sometimes negative energies and negative spirits, they like to confuse us. And they want to shame us and make us think that we're incapable of changing. But that's not true. So if you focus on the bad is going to happen. You're going to see, it's going to be amplified. It's going to be magnified. And there's going to be opportunities in these next upcoming weeks where you're like, man, there's no point. Or man, I knew that was going to happen. Or man, that's why I said go back in your journal, your manifestation journal, and reflect. Or your gratitude journal if you have one. If you don't have one, start one. Because these days go by and we just get bogged down and we lose sight of our vision and what we wanted. These messages we received in childhood, we think that that's the truth, and it's not. It's not. So we have to go within. Don't be afraid of those negative statements or those negative stories that you've told yourself. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, because that once was you and you felt that way, and that's okay. So in these next upcoming weeks, focus on positivity. Focus on love, focus on healing, focus on positivity. And when you do think of something negative, think of one positive thing, or think of two positive things to help weigh that out. Queen of Cups. We got the Queen of Cups. So I'm hearing here that while you're out there in the world, you're going to be meeting people that are going to want to trauma bond with you. And if that's something that you've fallen victim to in the past because it's all you know, that is something that you're going to want to watch out for. When you meet people, I got pulled two of wands here, which is about making a decision. I'm not even going to look at the bottom of the deck right now, but when you meet people and are trying to relate to people, and people automatically start talking about the bad that's happened to them, or they've started talking about, oh, my ex-boyfriend or my ex-partner did this, he was blah, 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 all these negative things, and you create a bond, that's not a real bond. That's a false relationship that you've created. And I'm hearing this file that you've created a lot. I said this pile, and this I'm picking up. There's been a lot of false relationships that we've been creating to kind of mend and cover this heartache, this deep longing, and this deep yearning for something more. So you have to go with inside of yourself and settle that energy and settle whatever spirit that is. With the Queen of Cups energy, I'm also picking up that you are incredibly caring. That there's a lot of people in this. That a lot of people who are watching this are incredibly caring and loving, and that's also to your own detriment, right? Because the people that you're surrounding yourself with, they aren't somebody that sees the good, and they aren't people who see the good in you and uplift the good in you, and you aren't somebody that sees and uplifts the good in you. So where is that goodness? Where can that goodness come from? In the next upcoming weeks, look for those opportunities, because those opportunities are going to be there, and God likes to place things in front of us to see, have you grown, have you changed, what have you learned? Because we can't keep cycling. We have to make a serious decision, right? Like he has the world in his hand, making a decision. What do I want? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? I'm hearing there's a lot of indecision in this file. Make a decision, because at the bottom, at the bottom of the deck, we had the Devil card, right? And we are enslaved to some of our bad habits, and being indecisive has to be one of them, because when we're indecisive, all we do is waste time. All we do, we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All we're doing is that we're wasting our precious energy, our emotional energy, and our mental energy. And that's what leads to more anguish and more despair. You have to realize that making a decision is better than not making a decision at all. So make a decision as to what you want. If people in this pile aren't in therapy, or they don't have somebody that they can really seriously talk to, I recommend going and signing up for group therapy, or joining a support group of some sort. of some sort. It'll really, really be beneficial. Or you're going to be placed in an opportunity. There might even be, I was saying, there might even be some type of breakdown that could occur, if not. And that's what we don't want. I'm gonna pull an oracle card. We got Divine Mother manifest. So we are always, especially in the spiritual community, we're always talking about manifesting. We're always talking about things in the material world. But that's why, and it can be very aggravating sometimes to hear, because there's so much focus on these material items and these worldly things that we don't understand is that what we have externally is what we have internally. What goes on internally is what's going to happen externally. So if you've been trying to get towards this period of manifestation, or you've been working on manifesting your goals and they haven't happened yet, or you feel as though things are just not going well, it's because you constantly put too much emphasis on the external world, on the material plane, right? Be of this world, but not in it, or vice versa. I had to sit down and think, be in this world, but not of it. I think it's be in this world, but not of it. If you know the correct saying, you understand what I'm saying, but put it down in the comments below, because it's one of my favorite phrases. I'm just so overwhelmed by the emotion and the energy in this reading. But go inside of yourself. Don't be afraid, because the answer is there. People say that you have all the answers you need inside of you. That's not always true. That's why we have to connect with people, and we have to work with people, and we have to talk to people, because then we get more information and we have more understanding of this world, and we get a better understanding of ourselves. If everything that we need is inside of us, then why are people still so confused, right? It's only when we go out there, we learn from people, then we retreat and come back to ourselves. We go out there, then we retreat and come back to ourselves, so we can work and integrate what we've learned. But if we're never integrating what we learn, we can never truly get into a space of manifestation, right? And again, there's a season to be still. We watch these, what's happening next, and it's external, material. What's happening internally inside of you on a spiritual, on a soul level? What's happening in your spiritual world, your spiritual realm? So it says, Divine Mother manifest. I'm hearing that God has been calling out to you, Spirit has been calling out to you, the universe has been calling out to you, and you've known this. So just kind of reel things in and kind of enjoy some type of emotional peace and safety, because the universe does work with you. It's not like they don't want to give you what you've been asking for. They always want to give you. The universe is always working for your highest good. They always want to give you what you were asking for. But if you internally are not an energetic match because you haven't done the work, then it's not going to happen. So I was saying, actually not in this video, it was my last video that I made, that I just picked up this oracle deck. So I'm going to read a little bit of it and see what else we can pick up from this. Oh, you living in the world of 6 directions, accept the gloom and accept the bliss, for those seeds buried in the ground will one day grow into fruitful orchards. Did we not pull a card that said ripe? And I said that you are out of the space where you need to worry or check on the budding seed, and you more so need to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and even if your fruits aren't ripe yet, Look that you've even made the steps to plant the seed. It says we share her, this divine mother, you and I. We are her precious children. We are born through her love, and she shares her losses and our gains, our tragedies and our triumphs. There's a season for everything, right? There's a season for everything. This oracle comes to you via the sacred grace and mercy of the Divine Mother, who is great, who is the great manifesting expression of divinity. All that is created, all that is made manifest without exception, flows from her being. This is why it's safe to trust in life, and it's safe to look within, because that you have access to that energy when you look within. Even the inexplicable mystery, and even the darkness that may give rise to fear and judgment within us, it's all part of her unfathomable workings. So we pray for light, we pray for love, we honor and live our lives with its mysteries, which as much integrity and muster as we can. But beyond that, it's best to participate in life with much less certainty, cooperate, participate, cooperate, engage. Okay? I mean, trust in the beauty, trust in the galaxy. The ways of the Divine Mother are not to be judged or limited to standards. So we can't look at just what's in the material world and judge ourselves so harshly based off of that. We have to realize and understand that there is so much more going on here. This is a beautiful card. Pull into this energy. This is that time period. This is what's coming towards you, for you to take a step back and reflect. We reflect so we can recalibrate, and we can readjust, and we can recenter, so we can shoot for what we want, right? I'm going to pull a surrender card here. What the collective needs to surrender. So, and what can come towards them, what they can surrender, so what can come towards them, right? Because in order for new things to come in, we have to release something. With the Virgo full moon, that releasing, focusing on the external world, because Virgo is a very spiritual sign. It's opposite, its polarities, it's Pisces, which rules the unconscious, which rules the dreams. So Virgo has that type of energy. I'm so sorry, everyone. My camera died again. But the card that we pulled out was surrender to your intuition. Tune in to your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashings, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. It is safe to look within inside of yourself. It's safe to listen to your own inner voice. If you're somebody that watches a lot of tarot readings, that's great. I'm a tarot reader. I love the cards. But at the end of the day, this is all guided by intuition. And I'm picking up in this pile that some of you are too dependent on external forces, or constantly looking for external answers, when this time the answer is within you, that you're in that time period for you to connect and strengthen your own inner knowing, and connect with your intuition, connect with your spirit guides, connect with your ancestors. Okay? That is the end of the reading. I hope you guys resonated with this. I hope you learned something. I hope you gained something from this. I hope that you can come back in the next 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 4 weeks and beyond and say, hey, thank you for this. I learned something. I integrated something. I was able to work with something here, and it helped me improve my life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a blessed evening.